Welcome to Florida Mint on Florida Man with Greg, Wayne, Josh, and Cameron, the podcast where Floridians discuss the legends, lore, and crazy stories that always seem to take place in Florida.
Got it memorized.
We had a lot of fun this past week. We went to the Florida Man Festival.
I did have fun. I admit it, guys. I always say, don't take me out of the house.
Mm-hmm. He does always say that, and we took him out anyways. We partnered with 101.9 FM to help promote the Florida Man Festival, and so we enjoyed all the bands that were there, but specifically, Joshua really enjoyed 311.
Showing my age. I'm showing my age, yeah. Been together 29 years, they have.
And he was jumping up and down in the crowd. I'd never seen Josh jump before.
No, I didn't know he could.
I was whipping my hair back and forth like Will Smith's daughter.
He was jumping so high, he was sucking the clouds out of the sky.
I was thirsty. They said, we're going to cancel the show. It's about to rain. So what did I do?
Took the rain cloud right out of the sky.
Rain cloud, and they go,
get it.
It was fascinating because I tried to gauge.
You didn't think I could jump that high, though.
I didn't know that you could jump, but I was trying to gauge the audience, and so I was looking around, and what I see is just Joshua just leaping. But yeah, a lot of fun. We appreciate everybody that came out, and we appreciate the radio station for putting it on.
Thank you.
And we also appreciate some headlines. It's been a bit.
All right, headlines.
Let's go.
So, Florida man professor, who is an expert on money laundering, was recently arrested for laundering money.
Okay.
Oh, okay. On the wash cycle.
I didn't see that one coming.
So, Bruce Bagley,
Clever.
who has been regarded as a leading expert on organized crime in Latin America, particularly on money laundering, is a professor at the University of Miami.
Okay.
I could have seen this a mile away.
So Bagley was arrested on Monday on charges of laundering $3 million on behalf of corrupt foreign nationals who collected funds through bribes and embezzling from public works projects in Venezuela.
Man,
What's crazy about that is it's one of those things where like it's because it's happening right in front of you. They're not. You would assume they wouldn't look there.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
He's a professor on it, but I mean...
During this time that this money laundering was happening, which was a span of 2 years, he was on...
Not that expert.
He was on NPR several times.
Oh, man.
As an expert to give opinions about what was happening in Venezuela.
What?
He was in the New York Times and the Washington Post. He was even a witness on behalf of Johnson & Johnson for like a money laundering thing. So when I say he's an expert in the field, like he's cited all the time.
People are going to him like for information, and this guy's committing the crime.
Like what's another field that you don't think like
the crime scene investigation?
Yeah.
Oh,
they'd be perfect for committing a crime. They know how to clean it
exactly.
up.
They know how to clean it up.
Right.
And get
the
rid
plot
of
of Dexter you're talking about.
Exactly.
Right.
Okay.
So from November 2017 to April 2019, Bagley had about 14 transactions.
Whoa.
He ended up pocketing about 10% of the money that he laundered, which was about $300,000.
Is that enough though to ruin your career and go to jail?
No, Lord, no.
$300,000 to absolutely ruin everything. No.
Everything you've ever worked for.
You're a professor at a good university.
Yeah, you're probably bringing in $100K.
Well, that's what's odd about it is I wonder how, like, if he was just kind of tied in, like maybe against his will somehow. Like he got in and couldn't get out.
Okay. Well, he wrote, so this is funny now that you say that, he wrote a bunch of books against organized crime and like all the kind of dirty secrets about it. So maybe you're onto something.
How did he get them dirty secrets?
Yeah, maybe he got threatened. He's like, stop writing these books.
No, honestly, like, and it could be one of those
crimes. I don't even think we should mention it.
No. I'll delete it.
Okay.
You want to delete everything?
Let's move on to the next headline, and then we'll see whether or not this guy goes in the shame
Probably
corner.
not, though.
Okay.
No.
So the next headline is a Florida dog who just wanted to take a joyride.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So a little different than the last one.
DAWG?
Yes.
Dog. What's that dog?
So a dog hopped in its owner's running car, accidentally kicked it into reverse, and drove in circles in a cul-de-sac for an hour.
Wow.
And at one point, he smashed through a neighbor's mailbox before he safely exited the vehicle without a scratch.
Holy moly!
Okay.
Who stopped the vehicle?
Well, he did. So what happened was
popped it in a newt.
neighbors came out and saw this vehicle just circling in reverse in the cul-de-sac.
Right.
I mean, it was just going in circles.
Me. I don't bother my neighbors a lot, but I think if a car was doing donuts,
just doing that,
backwards.
Yeah.
Backwards.
Yeah.
And so they called the cops. The cops came. The fire department came.
They pull a gun on them.
Then they realized that it was a dog, and so they didn't know what to do without somebody getting hurt or run over.
Right.
Basically, it just kept going in circles for an hour, and then it smashed into a mailbox and like a garbage can, and kind of slowed itself down for a second.
Right.
And then they were able to get the car open and get the dog out. So
where's the owner though? I mean,
the owner was there.
But the neighbors
what are they gonna
called
do?
the cops, right?
Yeah.
So how long was this guy leaving his car running with the door open?
With the dog in it.
With the dog in it.
I don't know.
Jerk store.
So eventually the large black lab got out of the driver's seat. The owner is very embarrassed and he wanted to remain anonymous throughout this whole thing.
Okay, so what's his name?
Billy Bob Dog Owner.
Billy Bob Dog Owner. What an appropriate name.
So
that dog's being put down, I assume.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. I hope not. But he said he's going to pay for the mailbox, and everybody's okay with it. But
I wonder if we could, if you're listening to this, Billy Bob Dog Owner, if he could voluntarily come onto the show and put himself into the shame corner.
Yeah. I think he should
Instead
show
of
up
Bagley.
in person.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure that the Miami professor was in there freely.
He might have been against his will.
So I think this guy leaving the dog in the car unattended to.
Yeah, and it had to be, it couldn't be an automatic. It had to be a stick.
For it to keep running like that?
Well, for him to shift it, he got to push the button on most of those.
I mean, who knows?
It could be one of those.
Who can know these things?
One of those wheels that has the gear shift up here by the steering wheel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dog just slaps it. It goes in backwards.
Or the dog. Maybe the dog has
Black
thumbs.
Labs are smart too.
Yeah,
so he's
true.
probably like
super smart.
He's probably like low gear is not safe. Let's go R. Hey, fellas.
Hey.
So, I didn't get one letter. I got a bunch of letters.
Okay.
But I've been collecting these. They said your name.
Oh, nice.
They said all of our names.
Thank you.
Been collecting these for like a year.
Okay.
Any of them that sounded similar in compliments or questions,
Yeah.
I grouped together.
Okay.
So the first part, complimentary, it was, you guys are funny and handsome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Question-wise, it was, with y'all being so funny and handsome, we imagine your families are also funny and handsome.
Very much.
You usually come with the funny stories. Do you have any funny stories that happen to your family?
Oh, I love those.
Also?
To our family. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of the stories are at our expense. I would love to share some about
Yeah,
my family.
most seem to be at my expense.
Let's do it.
Well, actually, what's funny is my wife actually just told me this story recently. We've been together for a very long time.
Still getting to know each other.
I know. And she was talking about, we were talking about embarrassing moments from high school.
Uh-oh.
And there was this guy, I'm not going to say his name because he listens to the show.
Hey, Randy.
But you know who you are. They were going to homecoming together.
Uh-oh.
And she had this very beautiful house in Georgia.
Okay, Braggy.
And basically, he showed up kind of early. He's waiting downstairs. And this is like her big, her
reveal.
big date. This is like her big,
that's a big deal. Yeah.
Big reveal coming
and
down the stairs on the banister. I've seen movies.
Right. So she's, the hair is perfect, makeup's perfect. And she's got this kind of like, don't imagine it because we're married, but this tight dress on.
Boy, yeah.
And so she turns the corner up the stairs and she looks down. She's got her grandmother, her mom, and her date there waiting for her.
Hello.
And she misses the top two stairs.
Oh, no.
Are they newly installed?
And slides down.
She grew up in this house.
The entire staircase on her butt. She hits on her bum and just goes like all the way down to the bottom.
Okay.
And she said that she basically was like bumping so hard that her hair came out. Like whatever.
Oh, no.
We've all been there.
Yeah. Anywho, she said that the night went well and that everything
she didn't just go back upstairs?
I don't think so.
I
think
would
she
have not.
Yeah, I would have never seen that person again in my life.
Well, yeah. Well, apparently he still took her out. I would have left her there.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But thankfully for me, this happened to that guy and not us.
Yeah.
So that's at
Good
her
on Randy.
That's at her expense. I'm sure she's fine with me telling that story.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Sure.
Yeah, Cameron, you got anything?
So I remember a 4th of July celebration very distinctly.
Oh, these are the best.
I can picture it in my head still.
Okay.
He still has 10 fingers, so this didn't happen to him.
So we were at a park.
Okay.
This is up in Alabama with my family.
Alabama.
Extended family. We're at this park and we're watching fireworks.
Right. Oh, so there's a big display happening.
There's a big display happening at this park.
Very cool.
But, we're sitting around in our little area and having hot dogs and eating and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Well, my uncle decides that he wants to put on its own fireworks display.
Of course,
you're watching a fireworks display.
Yes, we're there to watch a professional fireworks display.
Expensive firework display.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he just, he's got a one-up.
These are ones bought at a roadside tent?
Probably. He probably had, right there on the state line. Always those big stands.
That is so true.
Oh, yes.
So he sets up, he's doing some sparklers and the little fountain things.
Yeah,
boring.
Snakes,
so,
like the burnt churros.
Yep. He realizes that he's losing people.
Right.
The crowd is waning.
He's like, my nieces and nephews are they're getting bored.
So he decides to set up like this grand finale of his own.
Okay. After the professionals.
Yes. He goes to the children's the spinny merry-go-round. Okay. They spin in a circle and decides to set up a bunch of those Roman candle type fireworks.
Okay.
Yes.
So he's going around placing them. I think he's taping them to the merry-go-round.
Cool. Okay.
Cool.
And so everybody's starting to get a little excited.
I would actually want to watch this.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, all right, what's going to happen here?
Yeah.
So he goes through, he gets a couple of people and he's like, all right, we got to light these things at the same time.
Yep.
Right.
Then you got to step back because I'm going to spin it.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
So everything's ready to go. He gets people, he lights them.
Oh my God. This is gold.
Starts spinning them.
Yeah.
Well, what happens as soon as it spins? Everything falls over.
What?
Sideways. Okay. So instead of going up, it's going sideways.
They were pointed up.
Right.
But as soon as he starts spinning, that
centrifugal force.
There it is. Falls over.
Holy
Roman candles.
Garbage.
Just those little fiery balls shooting everywhere.
This is a Gatling gun of fire.
Yeah.
Grandma got hit. She's down.
No. She's wrong.
I don't know what. I don't know what happened to her.
Her jazzy though.
I'm hiding behind a picnic table.
Yeah.
Oh my! You flip it over.
Yeah, I had like a pizza box as a shield.
Jesus, dinging him.
Grandpa's having flashbacks. He's rocking back and forth.
Holy crap! You
was a
weren't
mess.
alone in this park.
No. There were other families.
Okay, because nobody owns the park.
No.
And your uncle's still in jail.
Well, my uncle does now.
Yeah.
He's a hero out
Holy
there.
garbage!
That's
bro.
amazing.
It was scary.
I think I would have paid to see that.
It was real fear
Because
going
nothing's
on.
scarier than getting a fireworks shot.
No, that's fantastic. Good on your uncle though for being
on him.
creative.
You sure that wasn't his plan?
It could have been.
Yeah.
If so, it's kind of brilliant. But
It sounds like his plan. I mean, nothing gets you excited like firework up the butt.
I love it.
Grandma's okay. Nobody asked, but
Yeah, good.
she's okay now.
Good.
Well, good because mine is about my grandma.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
She was nearing end of days.
Okay.
Roman candle.
Yeah. She took a Roman candle.
Yeah.
She's got like emphysema or something. She's hacking up a lung
Oh.
every 2 minutes. Like you can't enjoy anything with this lady around.
Okay.
Oh, jeez.
Not to speak ill of her.
Price is Right. Just wasn't the same.
Oh,
Right.
she loved Game Show Network. Don't even get me started.
She's
Josh, it's my turn to watch Game Show Network. I'm like, real world, New York is on. I want to see what Puck is doing.
Right.
And she wants Game Show Network. Ugh, annoying. She's hacking up a lung every 5 minutes. So much so that it's like crying wolf.
Right.
We're tired of getting worried.
Mm-hmm.
So
From the coughing.
From the coughing. Because it sounds like it's like, is this one it?
Right.
Mhm.
Sure.
So we make her some signs out of paper plates
Oh, geez.
that say, I'm okay, and call EMT.
Okay.
So family's all there. We're watching Tombstone,
Right.
eating pizza.
Right.
And she starts hacking up a lung. And we're talking right when my main man, Doc Holiday, whatever his name is, nobody knows. He's in there saying his funny, clever lines.
Right.
I got 2 guns for the both of you.
Yeah.
And she starts hacking up a lung. So I'm like, Grandma, your signs. And she's like, but worse, like grody,
no.
like grody. And I go, your signs. And she stops coughing like she had the ability to and goes, Virgo. And everybody's like, what? And we're like, your signs. And then we realized what she meant.
Like her astrological sign?
Her astrological sign. She, I guess, assumed that we had now paused the movie Tombstone to ask her astrological sign.
In that moment, that's what's most important.
In that moment, not her paper plate signs that are on her taped on her right and left hand.
So that's
like mittens.
Rip.
So yeah, I was about to say. So she's not listening now.
No, she lifted the wrong sign.
Tristan de Luna was born 1510 in Barovia, Spain.
Whoa. 409 years old.
Wow.
What did
509.
509 years old if he's still alive?
You said 50.
At least 500.
So Tristan was born to a noble family, and he had a very classical kind of posh upbringing, very similar to Josh's, actually.
Yeah, really.
Well, how many stories was his house?
4.
How many maids?
Yeah.
How many maids did he have?
One maid, and she was dirty talker.
Yeah.
It was weird when I was 13.
So basically, like after his schooling and into adulthood, it came time for Tristan to kind of like have a purpose. Like, what are you going to do?
I'm working on it, buddy.
Right. So back in the 1500s, there wasn't a lot of choice about like what you would do with your life. Like if you're poor and your family,
Collect mud.
Yeah, if they were farmers, then you were a farmer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the same kind of went for rich and noble people as well. So obviously they had different options, but your future was decided for you.
Oh, yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah, you start rich, you end rich.
Hey,
Right,
baby,
kinda.
Look at me.
So basically you were expected to do what your rich and noble like neighbors did. And so at this point in time, especially in Spanish history, people were all about discovering stuff. Like,
Don't you even say this account of money, Christo.
No.
Okay.
And so like they're constantly like discovering new lands and like peoples and cultures. And so for Tristan, he always kind of knew that he would be sent on some sort of expedition.
Nice.
Okay,
It's
gotta
just-
get that name out there.
Right. It's what they did. But it was just the when and the where was unknown to him. But in 1513, this was 3 years after Tristan was born, the Spanish discovered a place called Florida.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
So in 1559, after years of waiting for his purpose, Tristan de Luna is summoned before the king of Spain and told that he's being sent to colonize, and this is a quote, the forested land of great danger and great treasure.
I'm good, though. Is there another land?
Yeah, is there another option here?
Right. So Tristan's just been told, hey, you're going to Florida. And so he begins preparing for this journey. And it's important to realize that Florida has already been discovered. So he's being sent there to colonize the state. It's a much bigger operation.
I mean, how's the guy gonna know? I'd be like, yeah, I did it. I'm back, baby.
It went well. People are living there.
Yeah.
Tons of
They're
people
very
there.
happy.
Very happy. They love you, actually.
They're
by
all
the way.
eating oranges. And so it's a huge operation. There's 13 ships loaded with 1,500 people.
Wow.
Including soldiers, horses, and settlers, which include women and children.
Horses got to be uncomfortable on a ship.
Yeah, and I think in general, this is 3 months on the ocean.
Oh, nope, not me.
1,500 people, all traveling in tandem, and I think I can barely take my kids to the next city over. I can't imagine being on a ship for 3 months.
Yeah, and you love them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
With entire families.
Yeah.
So they leave Spain in early June. They land in Pensacola, Florida,
Good God.
in late August. The first thing he starts doing is documenting everything in letters.
Okay. Yeah, you gotta have proof.
Yeah, so it's not really like a journal. He's just writing letters, like he wants to make sure there's an account of his people, like step-by-step process of what they're doing in order to colonize this wild land. Because for him, this is going to be history. People one day will read this.
1,500 start, 1,400 land.
Right. So he assigns one of his captains to a ship, and he basically says, hey, like, return to Spain and let them know we arrived safely.
All right.
He then tells him to request further supplies from the king and then come back in a couple months.
That makes sense.
And so Tristan had brought enough supplies for 1 year, but in his head, he's like, just in case, bring some back with you.
Yeah, might as well.
Absolutely.
Right. So the next thing he decides to do is he forms 2 expedition parties to go further inland and kind of explore Florida. So they're kind of camped out on the beach. They're building houses and stuff and kind of settling in, but they've only been there for like a week.
Okay.
And so they form these 2 expedition parties full of soldiers. He says, go see what we're dealing with, check out the wildlife, and see if there's any locals.
That's going to be a mistake.
Right, exactly.
Strike one.
So the 2 captains that he placed in charge of these expeditions, they were kind of concerned because in their eyes, they were like, wouldn't it be better to use the manpower to unload the 1 year's worth of supplies from all of our ships?
Absolutely. I assume that had been...
Because the ships are kind of offshore, and then you kind of rowboat to the beach, right? But Tristan, in his mind, was like, no, actually, the ships have proper ways of storing supplies. They're outfitted for that.
Okay, that makes sense too.
Right, we haven't built the proper infrastructure here,
and you don't even know what's out there, so you don't want anything.
We may be getting back in the boat and heading home.
Yeah.
So Tristan's kind of smart right now,
right? And so, but on top of that, there was this unspoken fear that like wildlife or locals could attack, and then
absolutely,
it's just they're terrified. So Tristan felt it was best to leave everything on the big boats, and so the 2 expedition parties leave, and the next night, Tristan is woken up because one of his scouts comes into his tent and says, "Hey, one of our search parties has returned. They come back early and they want to see you." And so Tristan,
come see me in the John boat.
Right, yeah. So Tristan is like, well, that's kind of weird. They just left yesterday.
Yeah.
And so when he gets out there, it turns out it wasn't his expedition party at all. It was a group of about 120 Apalachicola Indians.
Oh, okay.
And so
did they
are they wearing the clothes?
Yeah.
No, so basically the scout saw them from afar and said, hey, it's a search party. You're going to want to come see them.
Wow.
And then when they got there, it was the Indians.
Cool.
And so we've spoken about them before on our show, actually. And luckily for Tristan, they were extremely friendly.
Oh, nice.
Friendlies.
Yeah, so they showed Tristan and his people kind of the lay of the land, taught them which plants were safe for eating, and just basically like which animals you can skin and wear for fur.
Oh, wow.
That kind of stuff. And so over the next month, Tristan de Luna and his colony built a very strong relationship with the Apalachicola people.
Yeah.
And so meanwhile, all of the 1 year supplies is still on the boat.
Yeah.
On the big boats.
Safely.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So when
when
they need something, they just take the John boats out to the big ships.
Yeah,
they load them up, come back to shore.
Hey, we need 1 horse.
Right,
go fetch a horse. Off
exactly.
The boat.
So Tristan said this was still the best idea. So about 6 weeks into their colonization, on September of 1559, one of Tristan's expedition parties returns. That's actually them this time, and they don't have anything with them, and half of them are missing.
Oh, sounds about right.
Okay, yeah.
And so Tristan, speaks to the captain, and the captain basically says, "Hey, we found some fresh water, but there's all these giant water dragons that prevent fishing and or swimming, and they keep eating our soldiers."
Whoopsie.
So
they're guarding the water.
A bunch of alligators, apparently.
Okay, wow. I like water dragons.
Yeah. Formed a welcoming party, and they're just devouring this expedition group.
Oh, they went to Tromp River.
Right, exactly. Old Tromp River. So Tristan says, hey, okay, look, that's unfortunate. Yeah, but now that you're here, let's go ahead and start unloading this 1 year of supplies. Now we got the manpower. I think it's time to do it. So Tristan says, it's kind of windy tonight.
Okay.
So we're not going to do it tonight, but tomorrow morning we'll start this process. So
this is no good.
That little wind Tristan was talking about was actually the arrival of a hurricane.
Oh gosh,
easy, crazy.
They didn't see it on the news.
I know.
Rip horses.
On the morning of September 19th, 1559, a hurricane landed off the coast of Pensacola and completely decimated everything that Tristan and his people had built since they arrived.
Oh, no.
Not hurricane-proof ships.
So people were missing. 10 out of the 12 remaining ships were sank.
Oh.
The other 2 ships were found miles inland in the middle of a citrus grove.
What?
Whoa.
And so now their newly built buildings are destroyed. The population's quite literally been blown away. And all of their yearly supplies are at the bottom of the ocean.
Okay, so the Apalachicolas didn't teach them much. They didn't teach them everything.
Yeah,
they didn't give away all their secrets.
Every now and then there was a great wind.
Yeah.
You're going to want to not be on the beach.
Or have anything in the ocean.
Right. And so the wind blew so hard that 2 entire Spanish ships were found miles inland.
Guys,
absolutely insane.
Y'all know the most dangerous part of the hurricane.
Right.
Is the storm surge.
Right.
Where were they camped?
on the beach.
Yeah.
And what's fascinating is in his journal, he talks about his people. He wakes up, his people are just gone.
He cannot sleep one night. This guy, he gets waking up.
I know.
There's water dragons out there.
Yeah. So Tristan and his remaining people, they travel with the Apalachicola back to their village.
Okay.
But the truth is, there's not enough space or supplies for both of them.
Yeah.
Right.
There's now 800 to 1,000 people.
There's just too many. However, that initial ship that Tristan sent back to tell the king they made it safely has arrived back with his backup supplies.
Ooh. Wow.
Just in time.
Just in time.
Worth?
Not a year's worth, but enough to not starve. And so he tells the captain of that ship, hey, listen, I know you just got back here.
Yeah. Hey, high five.
Yeah.
High fives all around,
And
buddy.
I appreciate what you brought me.
Yeah.
You've been traveling for 6 months. I know.
Yeah.
I'll actually take this ship.
Yeah.
You want to stay here.
What I need you to do, yeah, exactly. What I need you to do is drop off your stuff, immediately go back to Spain and ask for more supplies. But I want you to tell the king it's because things are going so well
Oh.
Yeah.
that we just need more supplies.
Yeah.
Tell them that we've adopted like natives.
Okay.
Tell them that this is what, and so,
Because the king doesn't believe in natural disasters.
right. I don't even know that they would even know.
No,
Yeah,
Like
I don't think
across
so.
the world. Yeah. Like,
No.
You don't get hit with them stuffs.
and so basically that ship the next day leaves back for Spain again.
Peace, brother.
And because the supplies that he dropped off, they were able to survive for a couple months in the natives village. But there was like dissent in the ranks. People are going like, "Hey man, like we're not going to make it here.
Yeah.
We got to go back
We
to
can't just
Spain."
have a ship like constantly bringing us stuff back.
Exactly. This place is crazy.
I think I
Like,
would be less than enthusiastic.
Yeah. So there's people who want to go back to Spain and they're blaming Tristan for everything. They're like, "You're the leader. You're why this is happening."
Yeah.
But unbeknownst to him, when they came over initially, because they were colonizing, they brought a priest. He knew the priest came.
Oh.
But unbeknownst to him, the priest had been secretly copying Tristan's notes.
Oh.
So, like verbatim. So, whatever Tristan wrote, the priest would write down, copying them all down.
Okay.
It turns out he was working for the King of Spain.
Oh, sneaky.
Keeping
I thought
an eye
he
on
was
Tristan.
working for God.
I
Right.
thought he was supposed to be working for God.
We got duped.
I know. So, when that supply ship went back again just
He
now,
took them.
he met with the priest beforehand, and the priest said, "Hey, I know what Tristan told you. Let the king read it in Tristan's own
Oof.
words."
Here's a binder
Oh my
full of.
gosh.
And sent all the notes back
What a jerk.
to the king of Spain. So basically, when that supply ship, got back to Spain, he's spilling the beans.
Yeah. Do you think he drew a picture of the water dragon?
Oh, I hope so.
I
I
hope-
bet.
I would if I was Tristan.
Absolutely.
I would have been like, "Listen, this is why we can't stay here. This place is insane." And so after a couple months, Tristan receives word that ship has made it back. It has made it back to where they're at. It's been like 4 or 5 months now. They're barely surviving on the supplies, and so they go back to the coast to greet the ship's return.
Absolutely.
And it's a Royal Spanish military ship,
Ruh-roh.
I accept.
and it's basically
Whatever.
in tow. It's got rescue vessels,
What?
and they're saying,
Oh.
"Hey, you're done.
You're pulling them out.
You're pulling you out. You're coming back to
Well,
Spain."
at least you got word of the crazy storm.
Right. And so the royal representative, this is a quote from him. He arrived and he said, "This land isn't meant to be tamed.
Amen.
No one will ever live here."
Amen.
Man, I wish that was true.
So Tristan de Luna was actually ordered to return home and meet face to face with the King of Spain.
Oh.
I would get lost along
Cul-
the way.
Yeah.
Culturally, this is their life's purpose at this point
Yeah.
in history. And so on the voyage home, they were actually rounding down south,
nice.
South America.
Oh.
And they make this
Okay.
regular kind of cargo supply stop off the coast of Mexico.
Mhm.
Tristan jumps overboard.
What?
He thinks he's going to be beheaded by
Gets
King's
he gets to shore and they never see him again
Oh.
because he was like, if I go back to Spain, I'm a goner.
Yeah.
If I jump overboard in Mexico,
Well, it's not like he
Probably from them saltwater dragons.
can prevent hurricanes.
But I
and
think
natural
it's- but I think
because
it's
he
a line.
lied.
it's it's just him being a royal. This is his thing. Like that's
Yeah.
what they do. It's his shame on
Oh, okay.
on
yeah.
I think on the kingdom and
Better
so
to have jumped overboard and.
well he went as a representative of not just country but king.
Uh-huh.
And so I
How
think for the
powerful
king,
we are.
I gotta kill you. So basically, he's now in Mexico.
What a cool guy.
The ship left Spain without him, or left for Spain without him, and he ended up spending the rest of his life poor and without family in South America.
I like him.
And so the expedition to colonize Florida was a failure, and the Pensacola area was not successfully colonized until 150 years later in 1698 when the Spanish returned again for the second time.
Jeez.
Oh my gosh.
So they took 150 years off.
Yeah.
And then they were like, let's maybe try it again.
They
when
forgot
the king
about
says it, you know.
Yeah, and let's see what happens.
Yeah.
So in 1992, the archaeology department of the University of West Florida discovered a sunken ship off the coast of Pensacola.
Oh.
And so 13 full-time archaeologists worked around the clock.
Bonologists.
Sorry about that.
Wait, there are bones involved?
Yes.
I'm sure.
So 13
Horse
full-time
bones.
bonologists worked around the clock trying to identify the ship and figure out if there's any other connections to be made.
I could have told him. You just read the story.
Right.
I could have told him.
I know.
It was right there.
So in the process of trying to figure out what's going on, they actually, 23 years later, stumbled upon the initial colony Tristan tried to plant.
Oh,
Wow.
And
I thought you were going to say they died too. I was like, what?
No, in 2015, they discovered the initial settlement on the beach.
Really?
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's cool.
Where Tristan was settled. And so basically, that was 4 years ago.
Whoa.
They
So we
actually
can
discovered
visit.
this. It's kind of cornered off now, but it's still being occupied and studied by the University of West Florida.
I mean, are they watching 24 hours?
No,
All I need
I
is
think
5
we could
minutes.
sneak
Yeah,
onto
we
there.
can sneak in.
Someone needs to warn them about the water dragons.
Hey, yeah, the saltwater dragons or the freshwater dragons?
Well, that is a story of Tristan de Luna and his failed attempt.
I'll probably name my firstborn Tristan de Luna.
Yeah, that would be great, actually.
In
Yeah.
honor of him.
In honor of him. I think he's a great guy. I think he made a valiant effort.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But
I mean, can you think of the pressure? Just imagine the pressure that you have of, okay, we're going to send you with 12 ships.
Nope.
We're in charge of them all. We're going to send you to this faraway land.
right.
I can
Something
barely get-
successful. You
I
guys
can barely
just,
get 12 eggs home safe from the store.
Yeah.
you have your own city, develop it.
Nope.
Just do what we do here, but over there by yourself.
I think what's crazy about it is that, like, just in general, exploration is risky.
yeah, it's crazy.
It sounds scary.
The oceanic trip alone is crazy, but to be the unlucky person who gets chosen to go to Florida and do it, because at this point in time, they're still colonizing small cities in South America, in Mexico. But so for Florida, it was just too much to handle.
I don't like getting gas at a sketchy gas station.
Right.
I can't imagine
Yeah.
bringing 12 ships into a place I've never been.
Yeah. But yeah, that's been a great week. I feel like we had a lot of fun.
Super week.
yeah, lots of fun.
We learned a lot about our families,
Yeah.
which I think is really important.
Yeah. Fireworkologist.
And we really appreciate you guys tuning in.
Listening.
We appreciated meeting you guys at the Florida Man Festival. That was a lot of fun.
That was cool. Shaking hands left and right.
And FMOFM.com, that's where we can hang out now digitally, or FMOFM Podcast, any social media network, that's where we're at. And we also have the ability, you have the ability to donate if you want to, FMOFM.com on the front page. It keeps the show going. It really helps us out a lot, and we really appreciate it. And we love you guys. Thank you so much for what you do for us, and
Very
we'll see you
much.
next time.
Thank you.
Chomp, chomp.